Hello, this is Steve Adamko, interior designer based out of Portage, Michigan. Been in this field of endeavor since 1979 and established my business firm, Spectrum Interiors, in 1982 in Kalamazoo, Michigan. On October the 14th, I visited an open house in Kalamazoo. The address is 5655 West Q Avenue. So I said I was going to go into a little more in-depth commentary on this particular home. And so this is going to be a little bit more on the general side. And then later on, I might go into some specifics as to what are the pluses of this house and what are the potential negatives of this house from an interior designer's point of view. A lot of people, when they buy a house, the realtor helps them with that and sells it to them. After that transaction has been completed, for most situations and in most cases, the real estate agent is out of the picture. I mean, they're not having anything to do with the day-to-day living of the new owners in a particular home. That's usually where I come in. So if somebody says they want to use an interior designer, work with an interior designer, I'm having to deal with the property, with the particular layout, with the floor plan, and nobody else has to deal with that. The real estate agents don't deal with that. I deal with that. So I'm going to approach it from a different point of view, from an interior designer's point of view, because whether you live in the property, for a year or two or three or five or 10 or 15 or 20, it doesn't matter. That floor plan is a main driver. It's what affects your life and what you can do in that home. So, going over just a little bit of the description, and this description is on Zillow. Very good site, by the way. I sold one of my homes on Zillow and sold it myself, and actually sold it empty in 2008 when everybody wanted to give you pennies on the dollar. But you have to know how to sell a home even in a time like that. And also, you kind of need to know how to sell a home properly at this range of, a million or maybe just under a million. So, anyway, the description goes like this: astonishing four-bedroom, all suites, 4.5 bath, unique in architecture, designed home. There's some typos in here, but setting on a very private 4-acre plus treed acres in Portage Schools. Okay, so I would have redone that sentence a little bit for clarity. Um, Here's a statement: the setting and amazing home is like nothing you've seen. Obviously, it's supposed to be nothing you've seen. I don't think that's the case, especially for me. It's like nothing that I've ever seen. I've seen plenty of homes even better and more luxurious and even in a more incredible setting than this. So, Must See Home has an incredible open concept with vaulted beamed ceilings, floor to ceiling windows, and hand scraped walnut floors. Elegant living room with a huge stone gas fireplace flows into gourmet kitchen with enough counter space for multiple chefs to prepare at once. Kitchen features a Wolf Range Sub-Zero refrigerator, 1000 CFU exhaust hood vent. Well, there's a lot of people, especially women, are not going to know what CFU stands for, which means cubic feet, or 1,000 cubic foot units, or 1,000 cubic feet per minute, or whatever the case may be. Two dishwashers and leather granite countertops. Leather granite. I'm not sure what that really means there, but setting off the kitchen is huge dining area, or watch the chefs work from the full wet bar with sandstone countertops. Or slip into the cigar office room off the bar. Cigar room has commercial exhaust and could be actually should stay converted into a fifth bedroom. Luxurious master suite with tray ceiling. It's so funny. They got it. It's supposed to be TRAY, not TREY. Walk-in closet, master bath, has heated tile floor with his and her counter space and dual sinks. Lower level is also open and spacious for entertaining. Relax in the family room with a game area and full kitchen for convenience. One of a kind theater room with a diamond screen custom made to fit the room, and with surround sound and the comfort of reclining leather chairs. Another meticulously done two-bedroom suites are on lower level. Okay, well, let's if for those that don't know it, theater with a diamond screen is based on the fact that you can watch the screen without having to turn down the lights. So you can have the lights up, and you can still see the screen. To this effect, not everyone wants to retreat to a darkened room to enjoy watching the game or playing games with friends and family. So they solved this problem with this black diamond screen back in 2008, and it's apparently the still the only optical screen that rejects ambient light from above, below, and both sides. So very interesting concept there. So that's pretty neat. The other thing about this is that it's mentioned that it's a one of a kind theater room. If you look at the photographs, it's not one of a kind whatsoever. It's not even done to the elaborate degree of a theater room. It's just a room with several leather chairs for watching, and it's nothing. And they got some bookcases in there, so it's not a one of a kind room. There's nothing totally outstanding about it. So here we go with some of the descriptors in the written description of the room. That's just maybe a little bit over the top. The other thing about these descriptions, if you're going to be selling a home that's about $1 million, I think you should not only edit but proofread, make sure you got the typos out of there and you've got sentence structure that does the job, because somebody's going to read this, so this might sell somebody on it. The other thing about this description is that for the most part it's all about features. Well, people talk about features and benefits. People buy benefits, they don't buy features. They want to know what's okay, so what? What's that going to do for me? Okay, a thousand CFU exhaust hood vent. What's that going to do for me? Sub-zero refrigerator. What's that going to do for me? And all of that. So it's very interesting that you got people that are selling large purchase situations like a home, largest thing that most people are going to buy unless they own multiple homes or have a private jet or something like that, or Ferrari, Lamborghini, things of that nature. So it's interesting that this house at one time was staged by Stage Right out of Richland, Michigan, and then it was converted back to the previous owners want to do their own staging. Well, the thing about the stagers is that they always purport that we're going to be able to sell this home faster and for more money. Well, neither of that happened. So I'd like to say to some of these stagers that, if you're going to say that, maybe you ought to guarantee it, put it in writing that if it doesn't sell faster and for more money, then the people get their money back. But it's always a blanket statement that most of these stagers say that, it's just another potentially hype statement. And it can happen, but it depends on a lot of things like that. Okay, and then we get the real estate agents, and I've got to believe that some real estate agents, it depends on how good their selling skills are. You've got to have a license to sell real estate. You've got to have a license to go fishing. You've got to have a license to be a hairdresser, and you have a license to drive a car. Now, just because you're licensed and been in it for a while, or you've been driving for a long time, or you've been cutting hair for a long time, or you've been fishing for a long time, doesn't automatically mean that you're a pro, a real pro, like as in sponsored pro. With your with a boat that's got all the kinds of sporting companies that have their logos on there because they're paying you two, three, four, or $5,000, $10,000 in sponsorships and stuff like that. And we all know that even very accomplished athletes get paid a lot of money, but a lot of them make even more money through endorsements. Okay, so this is not like endorsements. So we've got the situation where they say, well, staging will sell this house faster and for more money. Well, they only staged a few rooms of this house, and they were staged okay. I would say that the staging company did a little bit better job than the owners themselves. Well, we'll let it go at that for now, other than to say that it didn't sell fast and it didn't sell for more money. So now we've got a price cut of $100,000, which is good if somebody's looking for a house like that. Hey, cut the price by a little over 10%. It's $100,000. So I thought about another interesting aspect on this situation, and that is listing agent says, call me and get it sold. Okay, but sold what? For more money? Get it sold for the listing price or get it sold for less money? Okay. I guess if it's sold, that's a good thing. But I happen to be thinking just yesterday that suppose I hire a professional real estate agent to sell my home. And I'm hoping that they can do a good job and they really do know how to sell a home. Okay. And anybody can purport, I've been in this and I got a passion for this and I've been in it for 30 years. Doesn't mean a thing. Okay. Doesn't mean anything. Results mean something. And there's a lot of people that are selling that really have never learned to sell. They've learned everything about the legalities of selling real estate and have their license, and they even are part of the National Association of Realtors, and with the, realtor with the registered logo after it. They're not just a realtor, they're a realtor. That means they're a member of National Association of Realtors and that they abide by the rules and regulations, conduct, and all that. Okay, so that's what that means. So it's just another designation. And as far as the stagers are concerned, a lot of these people, they came from other disciplines, like maybe they were a dental hygienist, or maybe they worked as a dog groomer, or they sold cars before, and now they're going to be selling you real estate. And so real estate agents aren't just certified, but stagers are certified. So what does that mean? It means they went and took a course, like say ASP designation. That means they spent like $2,500, went to a course for 3 days and got certified. So it's a kind of a cheap and inexpensive way to get in and in the interior design field, of which I've been in since 1979. So I operate at a fairly high end, anywhere from simple stuff all the way to very high end. So these stagers get in, and then all of a sudden they're charging 100 and 120 an hour, and it's like you just move things around, and they do a lot of things that are like, well, I've seen so many of these. I did one stager that's in Richland. I went through all her stuff, and 85% of the time, it's always something put on an angle. The sofa's put on an angle, and the rug's put on an angle, and just some weird stuff. Some of the staging stuff is common sense. If you want to get a property ready for sale, clean it, wash the windows. That's a no-brainer for the most part. And the other stuff is just kind of decorating, and a lot of times it does not show, and this is a very important point. Staging does not show you the full possibilities of a house you might move into. Only drawing that up to scale, or having a floor plan drawn to scale, or taking it off the original drawings and space planning it, do you really know what the true potential of a home really is, especially at this level, at $1 million. Let's get this straight right away. Pros do floor plans. Okay. Stagers just try to, do things that maybe might take your eye away from something, or might create the feeling of, living in the space. And then they say, well, the people that come, they really can't visualize sitting by the fireplace if there's no chair by the fireplace. And I'm thinking, give me a break here. You can't envision yourself. If you can't envision yourself sitting next to the fireplace when there's no chair next to the fireplace, I feel sorry for you. Your imagination powers are really, really low. But anyway, if you were to buy this house, or let's just say that you're building this house, you don't see anything. You see floor plans. You see the size of it, and then usually, and most people don't do this, they don't really space plan it with furniture. They just draw the room, and it's this size, and it's going to do this, and it's next to this, and that's it. There are some things to be learned from a real professional. And a lot of real estate agents think they know all this and that, and that they can go toe to toe and head to head with me on design. It's like, no way. No way whatsoever. Most of them are amateurs compared to what I deliver. And I can sell. And I can do things sell tangible things and intangible things. A lot of people can't do that. So anyway, I was thinking about it this way, that suppose, let's just say I'm the owner of this home, and I hire the listing agent to do this. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm paying a professional. I want to get the most money out of this home as I can. I mean, everybody's going to want to get the most money and sell it for as quick as they can. Oh, that's just obvious. That's just normal human nature. Now, a buyer is going to say, well, how cheap can I get it? So we're always into this price thing. And the first thing that they do if it's not selling is they drop the price. So we got $100,000. So let's just take it from an economical standpoint and or investment point of view and say, okay, I hire this pro. Okay, so he says maybe drop the price. It's on the market, such an amount of time, like 2 months or whatever. I think we need to drop the price. Well, my question is, are you selling it properly? Are you marketing it properly? Are you finding out what this house can do for people? Or are you just showing it like a tour guide? Are you a tour guide or are you a real professional? Let's find out what level you're operating at. Okay. So most pros don't try to go for the price cut. They want to sell value, not price. And a lot of people are price shoppers. You never sell just on price alone. You always sell on value. Like, what can this house do for a particular individual? And I was there at the open house, and I was talking to a mortgage kind of guy that helps you to get a mortgage and does the financial stuff for you. And I talked about staging, and he said, "Well, do you want to stage it so you can appeals to everybody?" I said, "No, you're not going to appeal to everybody. That's just ridiculous. If you appeal to everybody, you appeal to nobody. Okay, that's a shotgun approach. That's stupid. Okay, so and I used it. I like to use a lot of analogies. So say that you're looking for someone to date or marry, or let's just take marriage. Okay, you're not looking for just everybody. You're looking for somebody that matches up with you and what you want, what you need, and that you likewise have what they're looking for. Okay, so you're going to be very selective. Okay, if you're for everybody, then you're really a prostitute because that's the prostitute's only looking for one thing, and if you got a certain amount of equipment, then you're in. Okay, um, so they're not really selective, are they? But when you get into this price category, in the $1 million or $1 million plus, you're dealing with a different buyer here. It's not average homes that you're selling here, so you got to have a little bit more savvy. And so I was asked by this listing agent, well, how much would it cost for you to stage this house? Well, I didn't approach it from how much it's going to cost. Then we're getting into a price thing again. So I tried to lay the foundation of this might need a different methodology instead of just staging this home. Because if you really were to stage this home like phenomenally, you'd need to have a whole furniture store just to stage a house this big. Okay, we're talking about 5,727 square feet. Or you'd have to be, just very selective on the areas, which by the National Association of Realtors, the number one area to stage is, a living room and then a master bedroom and then a kitchen in that order. Okay, there might be some other houses that might require staging to make it sell better or faster. But first of all, you got to find out what people are really looking for and how can it benefit them. Most people can't envision certain spaces. And like I say, most staging is going to be totally inadequate, a house of this size, to give a true rendition or feeling about what is possible. Again, like I said earlier, the only way you can do that is through space planning. That's what professionals do. Okay. And I'm a person who's all about excellence. Average and mediocre with me, kick it to the curb. Okay. Not interested in that. Now, I've dealt with all kinds of people from modest means all the way up to millionaires and multimillionaires, and I treat them all the same. But they're going to get excellence regardless, not average or mediocre ever. So the listing agent thought I was trying to skirt the price issue when he said, "Well, how much would it cost you to stage this house, or how much would it cost us to have you stage a house, or the client?" And I tried to lay the foundation of why I'm different and how I do things differently. So I'm definitely not like any stager out there you'll ever meet because I operate a higher level than they do because that's my work. I mean, I'm not just in there decorating and staging and using a few little tips and tricks that these people use that to have these certifications. Okay. And it seems like in the world of interior design, just anybody seems to get into it. I'm a designer. I'm a designer. Well, you don't say that I'm a doctor, I'm a surgeon if you're not got the stuff. But, right now, interior designing is such a low barrier to entry that a chihuahua could jump over it. Okay, so I was involved in this when we were trying to get title and license, a licensing situation where you either had to pass the NCIDQ to either even call yourself an interior designer, or you either had to pass the NCIDQ, which is National Council for Interior Design Qualifications. That's what it stands for, to even practice. Now, some states you've got to pass the NCIDQ to even practice interior design. Michigan is not one of those states, so everybody and anybody gets into this. Okay, so beware. Okay, a lot of amateurs in this field. But when you get to this level, you don't want to deal with an amateur. Okay, you're gonna like Clint Eastwood would say in Dirty Harry, "Are you feeling lucky?" Because that's what you're gonna need, a lot of luck. Okay, so anyway, I was asked how much it was gonna cost for me to do it, and I said, "Well, in a sense, that's a little bit premature. Let's see what kind of value and what different approach we need because you don't want more of the same. Not that I would do it the same, but you don't want to just say stage, and this is your concept of what staging is. It's going to need something a little different to be able to sell the possibilities of this and the advantages for a certain class of people. And if you're trying to appeal to everybody with this house, that's just a dumb way to go about it. It's going to be a certain market, a certain segment of people, a certain person you're talking about. Can they financially afford this? Do they have a job or a career that does that? Do they have the right psychographics? In other words, the right mindset or whatever to buy a house like this? And so there's a lot that goes into this that a lot of real estate agents, they just miss. They just totally miss it, miss the boat entirely. So anyway, he thought I was skirting the issue of price. And I said, no. So I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to fill him in on some things that he didn't know. I know you don't know. Okay, so let me fill you in so we can see what it's going to be from a value point of view, not just a price point of view. Okay. So anyway, he didn't get it. He just didn't get it. And I said, okay, well, if you don't, I didn't tell him this, but it's like people that don't get it. It's like, okay, you're gone. All right. If you're not quick enough to get it and understand it, then you're gone. You're not really a pro in my book. That's a little tough, but that's the way it is. If you're going to sell a house and you're going to be a pro, then sell it. If I'm the owner of this house, then sell it for me at a profit. Let me at least break even or sell it for the listing price. I have no idea if this listing price at the beginning was set too high or too low or what. I have no clue. But if you haven't sold it in a while, then okay, we got $100,000 price cut. How many people do you know that make 100,000? The vast majority of people do not make $100,000. And then what kind of investment vehicle would you have to be in to make $100,000? So let's look at this scenario. Suppose they say, well, it's been on the market for 4 months. It's like, oh man, we're not going to be able to sell it unless we drop the price. Well, who says so? Suppose the right buyer is going to come in at the 4-month mark. Okay. So you wait an extra 4 weeks to get your asking price. That's no different than doing something in the stock market where you've got to wait and see, if the stock price goes up or down or whatever. Or some investments, it's a matter of investment and time and patience. So now they got a price cut. So suppose the guy comes in at the 4-month point, we're looking ahead, and he says, "Oh wow, that house that's just what I'm looking for." And the original price was, "Yeah, I would have paid that for that, but hey, they've knocked it down $100,000. What a deal! Money in my pocket, or money that stays in my pocket that doesn't come out." Okay, from a buyer point of view. Now suppose I'm the owner of this house and I'm asking for a real estate professional, and I'm thinking like, okay, do the best job you can for me. So then he suggests that we cut $100,000 out of this. Now look at it from this point. If this real estate agent got all the money at, let's say, let's just round it off from 999,000 to $1 million. Okay, that guy makes what? 6% of that, $60,000. So they cut the price by 100,000. So it's either going to be that realtor's losing 6,000 or he's losing 3,000. What is that compared to 100,000? So the owner of the property is losing 100,000, and the real estate agent is losing either 6,000 or 3,000. Not so bad, right? So the owner's taking the biggest hit using a professional. Really? Hmm. That's interesting. So, I'd be wondering, like, can you really sell? I don't care if you got the real estate designation. I don't care how long you've been in it. Can you pull this off? Can you do this? Can you sell it? And could you negotiate it right? Well, I'm kind of wondering right now. Price cut $100,000. That's a load. Okay. You can say, well, it's only 10%. Well, why don't you pay that in a price cut? Why don't you, Mr. Agent, give the owner, say, hey, I'm going to price cut it for you. I'm still going to sell it to you because, it says on my card that I'll get it sold. But let me give you $100,000 out of my own pocket to make up for the difference, and I'll sell it for less. I'll still make money, but, well, not enough money to make up for the $100,000 that the agent took out of his pocket to cover you. So this is some of the stuff that goes on. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this because there's some lessons to learn not just from this house, but from any house. Okay? That's all I've got to say for right now. I will be back with more. But here's the takeaway. I want a pro to sell this house, and now I'm getting selling it for less. Now, this is one thing that I thought about too. This is very important. This is kick butt. This house is not like a loaf of bread. Okay, some of these houses have been around for 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 years. And they start doing these price cuts like it's a loaf of bread. Meaning this, is this house got an expiration date on it? Hmm? Is it? Does it really? And why do we treat it that way? So a lot of these real estate agents couldn't sell their way out of a paper bag. They'd probably do the easy stuff. But once you get into the big numbers, you've got to have some sophistication. You've got to have some business savvy. You got to have a little bit more than your average bear, so to speak. Okay? That's one thing. Okay? Don't sell a house like it's a loaf of bread. Like it's got an expiration date on, you got to mark it down. Maybe the person who is going to pay you the full list price is going to come along 1 or 2 weeks later. So don't act like a chicken and say, well, I got to do a price cut right away. Because, people don't, when you get down to it, really, they don't buy on price. People really, price is one of the last things. So everybody thinks that's the first thing. Well, are you wearing the cheapest shirt you can buy? You wearing the cheapest shoes you can buy? You driving the cheapest car you can buy? So don't tell me you buy on price. Okay? So especially in something like a house, it's the biggest investment that anybody's going to involve themselves with unless you're a wealthy individual with, a couple Lamborghinis and Ferraris and a private jet and 5 residences. Okay? Different situation here. The other takeaway is just because the stagers tell you that you can sell it faster and for more money to a certain degree, that's not always true. Ask them if they'll give you a guarantee. If they're going to be that bold about saying that, and I know that's based on data, that typically it does, but then is staging now something that makes up for lack of ability in salesmanship on the realtor end? I mean, they're almost purporting that nowadays you can't sell a house unless you stage. Well, I sold my house bare, but I had floor plans and space plans to show people the possibilities of it. If somebody buys a space, even commercially, they're going to want somebody to come in there and space plan. What can we do? Do we have enough room? Do we have what we need for right now and for future growth? That's what you look at. But I guess they don't always think that way in the house aspect. So let's not try to sell houses just on features. Okay, it's on benefits. We buy benefits, and if you look at yourself, Mr. Real Estate Agent, or anybody else, you buy on benefits too. Okay, what's the benefit? What's it gonna WIIFM? What's in it for me? Okay, so again, the real estate agent now is taking. If I was the owner of this house, he's taking $100,000 out of my pocket and only possibly $6,000 or $3,000 out of his pocket in terms of loss. All right. So all things being equal. All right. Well, I'll be back with maybe a few more things on this, but hopefully you'll get some ideas that it's not all as it seems. And there's a lot of things that are taken almost for granted. Well, you got to appeal to everybody. No, you don't. You don't. And you shouldn't. We're talking about demographics, psychographics, economics, financial situation. We're talking about a whole gamut of things that factor into this. Plus, how is the house laid out? you can have a house the same footprint or condo the same footprint, and if the windows are put in different places, doors, that's called fenestration, outdoor window placements or window placements, and it affects what you can or can not do with the room. And also how a room is structured and the wall placement has a lot to what you can or can't do. I had a condo that I bought. There was one next door to it, same footprint, just the mirror image. But the layout in there was terrible, and the layout in the one that we bought was perfect. Now, I've never bought a house or a condo or anything without measuring it up and space planning it first before I even decided I wanted to buy it. I mean, all things being equal. And I had one house that was like my older house, a 1929 or 30, that was very similar, but a good thing I space planned it because it's like, it's not going to work nearly as nice, not nearly as sweet. And the one I did buy was phenomenal. I mean, it was phenomenal. Layout and everything just worked super. Traffic flow, phenomenal. Everything, what you could do with it was awesome. So you got to know how to buy a house too, not just, oh, it looks great and it's got this view and it's all important, location, everything like that. But it's kind of like a shoe. If you're gonna buy Milano Blahnik shoes for like 1,500 or 2,000 a pair, take that footbed or that shoe as the floor plan. Now the other thing is, how does your foot fit in it? Is it tight in the toe? Is it loose in the heel? What's the situation? Okay, but you want that thing fitting just perfect if you're going to spend that much money. And it's the same analogy here. This is nothing to mess around with. So, do it right once the first time. Okay, and then the 6 P's: prior, proper, preparation prevents poor performance. Then another big thing is you got to ask the right questions to get the right answers in order to deliver the right results. All right. Well, that's it. I was going to end this a little bit earlier, and I'm going to say have a great, wonderful day. Today is wonderful, sunshiny here on the 18th of October. More to come, folks. More wisdom and insight and revelation is coming right here from yours truly, Steve Adamko, the owner and founder of Spectrum Interiors, located in Portage, Michigan, established in 1982 in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Okay, so I've been in Grand Rapids for 20 years and east of Flint and back here to Kalamazoo. This is the place to get real insight. And don't forget to check out my podcast. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, Podbean. It's called Interior Design Beat. Also, check out my YouTube channel, Design Ambiance. Looks just like how YouTube is set up. Design with a capital D, and then no space between design and ambiance. Ambiance, capital A, then it's MBIANCE. If you have any questions, want to talk to somebody who's got some insight, knowledge, and wisdom, and I got the passion too, but let's just not forget, wisdom and knowledge and insight is very important. Passion, okay, without that is nothing. Whether you know the Bible or not, it says zeal without knowledge is not good. Well, zeal is just another word for passion. So if you're passionate about something, but you don't have the wisdom and the knowledge and insight, big deal. It doesn't mean a darn thing. Okay? So here's where you get the straight shoot, the real deal. We don't mess around. We do things because that's the right way to do it. It's a professional way to do it. And we're especially important for those that have a lot of money to spend, the wealthy individuals, because they understand these dynamics. And if they're business owners, they understand these dynamics. So other people probably not so much, but it doesn't matter, does it? So I'm talking about the high end here. All right. So anyway, have a great and marvelous day today, and we'll talk to you again.